Hi, everyone. Good evening. Yeah, I think it'll be good evening for everyone right now, wherever you are joining us from. Thank you so much for joining. If you're joining us live or you're catching a replay, this is me saying a happy new year 2026 to you. The thing is, we won't stop saying this happy new year until the end of January, even into February, because you never can tell who you've said that to already or who you've not. So it's better to stay safe and keep saying it. The funniest thing is the day before the new year, or maybe a few days before the new year, there's always this hype. The new year is coming. The new year is coming. This, that. But then it happens just like in the blink of an eye, the new year is here. And don't tell me we're already 25 days gone into this new year. It is shocking. Thank you guys for joining me. If you're here with me, you can hear me, you can see me. Can you give me a thumbs up, or a reaction, or a message in the chat? Let me know that I'm not here alone. I can see a couple of people already in the live stream, but please let me know that my sound is good. You can see me clearly. Everything works fine. So back to this New Year story. I mean, I can't believe it's already 25 days gone. And I wonder how it has been for you. I wonder how the 25 days in 2026 has gone for you. Have you been working towards your goals, your vision? Are you on track? And that is why we're having this session today. Okay? And our topic is crafting your reading vision for the year. Now, it's a perfect timing because I can't see any response yet. Can you let me know if you can see me and you can hear me? Please let me know in the chat or with a reaction. Before I go too far, I want to be sure that everybody can hear me and see me, hear me loud and clear. Please let me know. Please let me know. I can't see any reactions yet. I can't see any chats. Can you let me know? Okay, I'll keep going and believe. Anna wish. Oh, awesome. Yes, I can see and hear you. Thank you so much, ma'am. I appreciate that. Now I can throttle ahead. So yeah, the new year comes with a lot of vibes. Before we get into it, there's a lot of preparation, there's a lot of resetting. People are, trying to re-strategize and all of that. And before you know it, boom, it happens. We're already 25 days gone. And I want you to sit and reflect and ask yourself, how has it been for me this 25 days? Has it been a period of still crafting my vision, trying to rearrange or restructure, or am I already hitting the ground running? Whatever be the level that you are, there's no right or wrong answer. The important thing is that you are not alone on this journey and you are not the same level that you were in 2025. The new year comes with growth. Every new year comes with growth. The expectation is growth, advancement, progress. And because you're here in this live stream, hi, Kobe. Kobe, thank you for joining me. And because you're in this live stream, it tells me one thing for sure, that you're ready for growth in 2026. Because today we're going to be talking about how to craft our reading vision for the year, the visions, the goals, the systems. Now, many years ago, we used to all, do a lot of New Year resolutions. Oh, the New Year is coming. These are the things I will do. These are the things I'm going to stop doing. But over the years, we've come to realize that New Year resolutions don't deliver nothing. So a lot of people have dropped that idea in so many years behind. So now we're talking about visions, right? And the shocking thing to me is that a lot of people craft their visions for the year. They write their personal vision, their family vision, they have their business vision, they have their relationship vision. Like they have a picture of where they want to be. But there's something I noticed that is always missing in that process, and that is a reading vision. That is why we're having this conversation today. I'm going to explain to you why it is important that to your vision for 2026, you must add a reading goal. A vision, In fact, I had a quote somewhere that I wrote: a vision board without a reading goal is incomplete because it is missing the most important engine that drives growth. Now, I'm going to break that down. What is a vision? A vision is literally a picture of where you want to be. It means that that's not your current state, it's an aspiration. It is where you want to find yourself at this certain period of time. And in this case, we're looking at a 1 year horizon. That is by the end of 2026. This is where we want to find ourselves. Now, one thing is common with every vision that I've come across or that I know about, one key thing, and that is growth. You're saying that this is where I ended the year with, but this is not where I want to be in the next year. That is one, what's it called in mathematics again? The highest common multiple or something like that. Like something that is common to everybody's vision and aspiration is growth, progress, advancement. Like you're moving forward from where you were initially. Now, one key thing, the engine that fuels every growth I know is intentional learning. The engine that drives every growth in life is intentional learning. And how can you achieve intentional learning? By intentionally reading. So let me break it down just in case I'm still sounding theoretical. You're a business owner, and last year you closed your books with let's say revenue of $10,000. Okay, and this 2026 you've given yourself a target to take it to $25,000. That's a growth of 15,000. Yeah. What is that thing called? It is called a revenue growth, moving you from point A to point B. Now you've put all of the structure strategies on the board. Okay, you said, "Oh, I'm going to make 15 sales calls. I'm going to create 3 new products. I'm going to attend 5 networking events. I'm going to sponsor so events so that my product or my business can be in the limelight." Right? All of those things are good, but how can you achieve sales growth without reading a sales book? Please, I want you to type it in the chat for me. How can you achieve a sales growth in your business without reading a sales book? I am not saying it's not possible, but it is limited. You're going to achieve growth that is limited, right? Because you need intentional learning to get to where you're going. What does intentional learning do for you? It opens your eyes to the strategies that there are. So these other 5 or 6 things I've called that I'm going to do to achieve my sales growth, they are not bad. But I shock you that by the time I pick up a book on selling, I'm most likely to add 10 extra strategies to that knowledge that I have. So that's why I said a vision board, whether it's for your family, for your business, for your relationship, for whatever, it's incomplete without a reading goal. Please, can someone put it in the comment section? I like to see the comment section buzzing when I'm teaching in the live stream. Please let me know that I'm not here alone. It's live streams are different from Zoom, that you can at least see people, connect with them, unmute their mics. Live stream, I'm just talking and you guys are all watching. I believe that you're watching. So the only way I can feel that connection is when you give me reactions, give me messages in the chat. Yeah, please, I'd appreciate that. Thank you very much. So that's why we're having this conversation. And I said in my opening remarks, I said, starting the year without a reading vision is like placing a limit on your own growth, because growth doesn't happen by accident. Growth, progress, and meaningful success come from acquiring the right knowledge in the right areas at the right time in our lives. I'll take that again. Growth, progress, meaningful success come from acquiring the right knowledge in the right areas at the right time in our lives. So you see now that whatever vision board you've crafted for your family, for your business, for whatever, and you don't have a reading goal, you don't have a strategy of acquiring more knowledge, you don't have a strategy of learning more in that area, then that's a flawed system. I can challenge you to that. If it's gonna take you 2 year, let's say one year to get to that journey, then anybody who has a reading goal infused in their vision board will get there in 6 months, half the time it will take you. So why do you want to go through all of the hassles of time, delay, stress, when the solution you are looking for is already written in a book in black and white? All you need to do is to pick it up, read it. So what am I saying in essence? Everything that we are going to achieve in this 2026 is going to be dependent on how much knowledge that we have. No wonder the Bible tells us that my people perish because of lack of knowledge. Now, let me explain this perish. Perish does not mean death. That's a metaphorical statement. Perish in that context of the Bible does not mean death. It doesn't mean suffering. It means the struggles that you struggle to get to where you're going. It means the financial the financial challenges that you have. It means the health challenges. Perishing means not maximizing your potential, or what, not maximizing the tools around you. It means, I can call it suffering. You're suffering for no reason. That's what the Bible says. My people perish for lack of knowledge. It didn't say for lack of prayer and fasting. It didn't say for lack of relationships. It didn't say for lack of ideas. No, no, no. Lack of knowledge. So that's why the first thing that you must get in whatever you are chasing is knowledge. I remember having a conversation with a lady one time, and she said, now, so I'm bringing it now in the context of marriage, right? She said when she was getting married, herself and her husband, because they already had a vision for their marriage. They wanted it to be successful. They wanted to raise children who are godly. They wanted to model a good marriage to their children. And the both of them jointly, they read 20 books on marriage before they got married. Tell me how somebody who has read 20 books in marriage will fail in marriage. I mean, I'm not saying it's not possible. What I'm saying essentially is that they've entered marriage well prepared than many of us who strolled into it. Which all we did was to arrange ashwebi, colors, the laces, the makeup, the hair. Okay, but this is a couple who sat down and they read 20 whole books on marriage. What does that do for them? Their perspective is already wide about marriage. They've sharpened their horizon. They can see further. They understand what marriage is all about better than anybody who walked into it without reading. So that's the same thing that reading or adding reading to your vision board or to your goal tracker for 2026 is very important. Now let's move ahead. You cannot live this year the same way you lived past years and expect a different result, because success comes from doing things differently, and most times from doing different things altogether. Success comes from doing things differently, and in most times from doing different things altogether. And I challenge you, the one powerful thing you can choose to do differently this year is to intentionally craft a reading vision for yourself. And so today we're not talking about reading more books. We're not talking about speed reading. We're not talking about crash reading. We're talking about reading with purpose and direction. Because when reading becomes intentional, it stops being an activity you struggle to fit in. And it starts becoming a tool that supports the life you're trying to build. So a reading plan is one of the items or the accessories in your toolbox on your journey to your 2026 goals and vision. A reading plan. Yes. So the structure of this conversation is going to be in three dimensions. We're going to be looking at the vision, which is why you read and who you're trying to become, who you see yourself at the end of 2026. We're going to talk about the goals, what the vision looks like in real measurable terms, and then the systems and how reading actually happens in the middle of a very busy life, which all of us are in it. So let's look at vision. Like I already said, a vision is a clear mental picture of a desired future. It means that it is a place you are not yet at, but you hope to get to. And in that context, like, who am I becoming? What kind of life am I intentionally building? Where am I headed in this 2026? Those are the kind of questions that visions, you know, those are the kind of questions that vision tries to answer. And I like to say that vision is the starting point of all high performances. I can't even believe that some people get into the year like they don't have a plan, you know, for where they're going to. I can't believe that, you know, how like some people just, you know, some people, I don't know, how do I say this now? Some people they will say, oh, I don't believe in New Year resolutions, and then they just say, they just sit back and just stroll into a new year and hope that there'll be difference. There can't be any difference if you just stroll into a new year without a plan, without the goal, without a vision. It's actually the vision that wakes you up every morning. It's the vision that is your motivator. It is the vision that is the engine that will start you, even in the cold, when people are under their duvets. It is your vision that drives passion. Anybody who you see that is passionate or aggressive in what they are doing or consistent, and look at them, they have a vision. There is something they are chasing. There's something they are chasing. My friend said, Vera, I admire your energy. You're always sending your stuff everywhere. I said, you don't know where I'm headed, though. If you people know where I'm going, you will just clear the road for me. That's an example. Many times I want to sleep some more. And my children make it worse. They'll say, Mommy, your bed is so comfy. I know. My bed is so comfy. The duvet is like, ah! It's like I should just be there and they be serving me food. You know the way they do this birthday thing. It's a new day, it's a new dawn. They will serve you your colognes, put your glasses on, give you your cake, put the candle, and then you blow. I love it so much. But because I'm a woman on a journey, I know where I am heading. All right. So sometimes when I just want to sleep in a little bit more, I'm like, Vera, no, 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 this cannot be you. I just jump up from that bed and I get to do what I need to do. That's an example of what vision can do for you. Okay. Vision is what gives effort meaning. Without vision, discipline becomes exhausting. So, example of a vision, um, you can read consistently and still feel stuck if you don't know why you're reading. Now, let's talk about this one. A lot of people just pick up books. They just, oh, for example, there's a video I made at the beginning of the year where I was recommending 15 books. So people will just jump, start reading the 15, like start selecting the 15 books to read because the Reader's Corner recommended it. No, that's wrong. And we're going to talk about that as we proceed. Okay. A reading vision is a clear picture of how reading supports the life that you want. I already mentioned that reading books is part of your accessories in your toolbox. That's what will take you to where you're going at the end of the year. You cannot have a complete picture without adding. I already gave an illustration with sales. You need a reading goal. You need a sales book, for instance. You need a sales course. Okay, that's what the Bible says. In all you're getting, get wisdom. In everything you've crafted, you're chasing. Without knowledge, some people call it information, but I don't call it information because information just sits in your brain. It doesn't get it implemented or applied, right? But wisdom is the principal thing. So whatever you're chasing, you need vision, reading, knowledge to push you ahead. Now, a reading vision is a clear picture of how reading supports the life you want, not just what you read, but why you read it, how reading shapes your thinking, decisions, and identity. Now, let's clarify this here. A reading list is not a reading vision. Rather, a reading vision gives meaning to the list. So, the top 15 recommendations that the Reader's Corner Center, for instance, that's not a vision. It's just a list. I selected the list. Anybody can select any other list. Do you get me? But what gives it meaning is when you then look at your process, you look at your journey. Where am I going? What do I want to achieve? And then you select books that would align with where you're going and help you get there. Do you get it? Do you get it now? So that's the handshake, the connection between your vision and your reading plan. Now, why is a reading vision important? Why is a reading vision important? Number one, it provides clarity. A reading vision gives you clarity so that you stop consuming random information. 15 top recommendations. Somebody else brings their own seven, another person brings their own eight. You begin to get confused. For me, what I do with that kind of information is it lets me know the possibility of books available. Oh, these are the books. Okay. So anytime I have a project or a goal I'm chasing, I know the kind of books that I can read for it. And I give you a typical example. For those of you in the Book Lovers Club, I know shout out to you. Kobe is in the Book Lovers Club also. I don't see any more names, but if you're here and you're in the Book Lovers Club, special recognition to you. You guys are the main MVPs, right? And if you're not in the Book Lovers Club, why now? What are you waiting for? Please look out for registrations for the June cohort so that you can hop in because a lot is going on there. Now, we talked about talking about books and aligning them to where you're going. The book for the month in Book Lovers Club is the 12-week year. Oh, I don't have a copy close by. The 12-week year. You see that book? The 12-week year book. It's a game changer. I don't want you, if you are listening to this, whether you're watching live or catching a replay, I don't want you to finish January without reading that book. You get why? Because that book is like a map to where you're headed in 2020. 20, that's the 12-week year. This book is very powerful and it is best read at the beginning of the year. Okay, that's my bookmark. It is best read at the beginning of the year. This is an example of how one book can shape your entire life. This book tells us about execution. You have different goals, you have to, but nobody gets rewarded for what they planned to do, but what they eventually did. So this book focuses on implementation. Is enough to you have said it too much. We've heard it. Which one have you done? Then it tells us how you do it. In fact, it talks about how to even start by crafting a vision and then moving on to goals and then to tactics and then different tools that will help to keep you on track. See, wishing is saying that I want to make so profit in this year is not enough. There has to be a systemic way or a systematic way to get to that point B, which is where you're headed. Okay. Now, a reading vision is important because it gives you focus. You read with intention, not pressure. I like this part. So for me, I already have my reading list curated. I know the problems in my life that I want to solve, the challenges I want to visit this year. And so I've looked at books that can speak to those challenges. So I have mine curated. Okay. Now, a reading vision gives you focus, not pressure. So you're not pressured. So I like to give this example. I belong to a parenting community, the Inner Circle, and many times or every year, every month, we have a book that we're supposed to read. Okay. But this is just for illustration purposes. There, like last year, there's some months I didn't read the book for the month, not because I don't like the books, or well, maybe many of them I've read them before, but because I've already like have a mental picture of where I'm going. And when I saw those books, I feel like they are not aligning to where I'm going right now. And so I put a hold on them for now. And then I move on to books that will take me there. That's an example of reading with focus and not pressure. Nobody should pressure you. Even members of the Book Lovers Club, not all of them are reading this book, and nobody's going to pressure them. All I can tell you is it's a great book. Encourage you to read it. I'm not going to do anything if you don't read it because you don't find it relevant in your season. Yeah, so that's one thing what a reading vision does for you. You understand your season and you know what you need, all right, in that season. A reading vision helps you with identity shifts. Also in the Book Lovers Club, we talked about identity and mindset reframing. That was our tool for last week. We were trying to rethink ourselves, to see ourselves beyond our current circumstances. We try to, how do I say it now? Picture ourselves as consistent readers, because the Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So everything that you are, the is that you are, begins in the mind. Okay, so a reading vision helps you to see yourself as an intentional reader. It also gives you consistency because vision pulls you forward even when motivation fades. I already talked about how my duvet, my bed and my duvet, how my kids always tease me like, "Mama, I don't want to stand up from your bed." A compelling vision creates a passionate reader. Now, let me ask you a question. If someone studied what you read consistently, like look at your reading list for last year, what would they say you're preparing for? Can your book list for last year, if you actually did have one, or the books you read last year, can they point to a particular direction you're going? Or are they just taking you to the Sokoto, then to Jos, then to Canada, then to Australia? So you're reading scattered reading. Ah, they say we should read this book. Bam, you carry it. Oh, this book is the one reading now. Bam, you take it. Let me tell you something important. The job of a bookseller or a bookstore or anybody into reading is to show you the possibility of books available. It's not doesn't mean you should read all the books that are recommended immediately. Some of them you put in your wish list, and then when your focus is on those kind of topics, then you pick up those books. For instance, when we talk about this 12-week year book, it talks about breaking down your year into weeks. Instead of looking at a 1 year time, you're looking at a 12 week, that's like 3 months cycle for each of your goals. So let's say in quarter 1, back to my original example, your goal is a sales target of $25,000. That's one of your goals. Second goal is maybe to improve your relationship with your spouse, something like that. And maybe your third goal is to connect better with your children. 3 goals for the quarter. That's enough. So am I going to find you reading book on exercise and dieting? No, because it's not in your agenda. It's not in your vision for the quarter. The kind of books I'm going to be expecting you to be reading are books on sales, marketing. There's this book, Credit Alert. I'm going to bring in that book to Canada very soon. The one that talks about how to sell to anybody, to Africans or something like that. Those are the kind of books, marketing strategies, communication skills, digital marketing, AI. Those are the kind of books that you should be reading and sessions you should be attending. For your marriage, you have to talk about books on marriage, building your marriage plan, marriage stories, books that will, teach you what you didn't know about marrying your spouse. Then talking about parenting, like Inner Circle, we're reading this book, Parenting Reset. So that's how to craft a reading vision that supports your growth journey per time. Now, the danger of starting the year without a reading vision or plan. Number 1, reactive reading. You are reading because they asked you to, or you are reading, popular. If the book is very popular, here, please, I need a copy. Let me start reading. Then you even drop the one you were reading. Because of the noise, you feel it, jump to the other book. Second one, information overload, little transformation. At the end of the day, you read four books in January. How many did you apply? How many did you implement something new in them? Like people that know me already, I'm not a fan of the number of books you read. I'm not. I'm more interested in how much your life got transformed from the books that you read. If you read half a book and do one thing with it, you're better than someone who read 6 books and did nothing about it. Okay. Another danger is starting books, not finishing. Reading that doesn't translate into action. When you don't decide what goes into your mind, the world will decide it for you. Number 1, your busy schedule, the trend, other people's goals will define your reading life for you. And I like this quote. It's a popular quote by Yogi Berra. And it says, if you don't know where you're going, you will end up someplace else. Now get it right. If you don't know where you're going, you won't stop. It doesn't, because you don't know where you're going does not mean you will be at a standstill. You will keep going. The problem is that you will get to somewhere else. You get to somebody else's destination, not your own destination. And that's not what we want to happen this year. Okay. Now, there's a popular quote. Let me look for where I wrote that thing down. Are we all here? Can I see some reactions, some comments? Oh, okay. I don't think I can find that thing now. I don't think I can find it now. Okay, I think I have it now. Yeah. And I want to thank you. I saw the reactions. Thank you very much. But the comments don't still come. I don't know why. It talks about personal accountability, and it says ownership of your vision, goals, and plan. is the single most important thing that you can do to become great. Ownership of your vision, goals, and plan is the single most important thing that you can do to become great. You see that now? So your vision belongs to you and nobody else. Even if the world, like, let them be reading 50 books, let them be reading even different types of books. Please don't fall into the temptation of going with the trend. Stay focused with your vision. You see what, that's where we started talking about vision. You must have where you're going. You must have where you're going, and then you now get the right tools to take you to where you're going. Now let's move on to part two, which is the goals. The first step is to have a mental picture of where you're going. The goals are then the smaller steps that you want to put together that will take you to where you're going. That's the way I illustrated to my children when we're talking about our vision board this year. And I said, this is you right here in this house. But where you want to, oh, thank you, Sis Evelyn, you were here. Thank you. where your vision is point B, somewhere in front where you're going. Okay, that's your vision. Now the goals, your goal are the things that you will do, those steps that you will keep taking that will take you to where you're going. All right. Now, the vision is the destination. The goal is the mile markers, those things that you're going to do. Okay. Reading goals translate your vision into daily and weekly actions. That's why we said the practical things that you will do. They're about action and measurement. And reading goals, and they answer three questions. What will I read? How much will I read? How often will I read? When will I read? Vision tells you where you're going. Goals tell you how to get there and how you will know that you're making progress. Get it right. Vision tells you where you're going. Now, when you craft a vision, you now know where you're going. This is where I'm headed. But your reading goals are what will tell you or give you the tools of how to get there, the how. And apart from how to get there, we'll tell you how to know that you're making progress. That is when they talk about SMART goals, right? They will say specific. For me, I call it stretching, not specific. For me, stretching. If your goal does not scare you, then it's not a proper goal. It has to stretch you because growth only happens with discomfort. So if it's still business as usual, oh, you wake up by 6 a.m. every day, you still go to that's you're not dreaming. The dream is the one that will change your wake up time, reset it by 2 hours. You can't sleep again. That's what they call real goal. All right. So, and then they say M is for measurable. Right. So that's where we say goals show you how to know that you're making progress. Now, I like to talk about goals in two different ways: the macro goals, which are the big picture goals, and the micro goals. The macro goals are your long-term reading intentions, your overall reading life, how you want to see yourself in 2020, at the end of 2026. For example, by the end of this year, what do I want to become as a reader? Who do I want to become? And what do I want reading to help me achieve? Example, how many books do you want to read this year? You can say 12 books in personal growth, 6 books on faith building, 4 books on business or leadership. A transformation you want reading to support. For instance, you want improvement in your finances. You want to improvement in your marriage, in your personal life, in your communication skills. So those are the big picture goals. Now, what are the micro goals? The daily and weekly check-ins and markers that you have to leverage on. Macro goals are inspiring, but progress happens through micro goals. Example, what will I consistently do to make my big reading goal a reality? Examples, I could say, okay, I'll read 10 to 20 minutes per session every day, or I can read 5 pages a day, or I will read one chapter per sitting. So that means I have multiple reading sessions in a day. Or I must share and discuss my reading insights weekly. And this is one thing we do very well in Book Lovers Club. Every week we have a day where people come to share their insights. What are they reading? Where are they reading it from? What has struck a chord in their life from what they are reading, and what have they done differently? Okay. Now, how do you set sustainable reading goals? How do we set sustainable reading goals? Number one is to start small. Many people Their goals are dead on arrival because it's not achievable. Yeah, that's the word. It's not achievable. So, for instance, the whole of last year, let's say you struggled, managed to read 3 books. And then this year, you come and tell yourself you want to read 12 books. Or no, let's not. 12 is even doable, at least once a month. You want to read 45 books. I know we walk by faith and not by sight, but you know, reach that side. It's not realistic. Yes, I know your goal has to be stretching, but it has to be stretching in a reasonable way. Okay, so you have to start small. Why? Because the brain thrives on success. If you say you're going to do something once and you get it done, the brain becomes activated. Like, oh, I trust myself, I can do it another time. But if every time you say you're going to do something, you never get it done, then that's when motivation just crashes. You just find out that you're not doing it again. That is why many people struggle to read consistently. Because the first time they tried it, they said, this New Year resolution, I'm going to read every day. They couldn't meet up. First time they gave themselves second grace, they couldn't meet up. Third, they just abandoned the whole thing. It's not their fault. That's the way the human system is created. If you're not succeeding, if you're not achieving your goal, then that there's a tendency to get demoralized and just leave everything entirely. So it's quite natural. The next would be to build reading before volume. Build reading before volume. Your reading is your reading consistency. If you say you're going to show up 5 times a week on your with your book, then you show up 5 times a week. So focus on building that reading more than increasing the number. Oh, time will not permit me to explain this concept. Let me run. My time is almost finishing. And then you tie reading to existing routines. You leave room for grace. Like I said, life can get busy, but what then makes it different is when you're able to understand your season and say, okay, this period I couldn't meet up, I'm going to cut myself some slack, and then the next period I'll pick it up again. Now, goals tell us what to do, but systems decide whether it actually gets done. Now, this is us transitioning into systems. We've talked about vision, we've talked about goals, and one important thing I like about the vision aspect is setting your reading vision. It has to align with your personal vision. Where do you want to see yourself at the end of the year? What are the things you want to achieve? Then use that vision to craft your own reading vision. Your reading vision must align with your personal vision for the year. And I started by saying, for those who are just joining us, that a vision board without a reading goal is incomplete. Is incomplete because you're going to get half-baked success. Real, full, grounded success comes from the wealth of knowledge you're able to amass in that area of growth you're chasing. So let's go ahead with systems and structures. Systems are the how, like the structures that make reading automatic. Now, let me explain something about this thing. The good thing about habit formation is the moment you lock it in, nobody can take it away from you again. Just the same way, I don't think any normal adult goes out of their houses without brushing or taking a shower. Let's even use brushing, taking a shower. This Canada has changed many, many things. Canada code will humble you. But brushing, having a toothbrush, I don't think, even if it happens, it might not happen all the time. The basic expectation is that you brush your teeth. As automatic as that activity is, brushing before you go to bed or brushing before you step out of the house, or that's the same way that reading is supposed to become second nature. I was speaking with my sister last night, and we were talking about routines and how our kids are doing with routines and habit building and all of that. And she reminded me something. Her daughter, my niece, she's 10. And I remember many years ago when my sister was trying to teach her how to journal. It was tough. But guess what? As soon as this girl locked in that journaling, my sister told me last night, for the past 3 years, this 10-year-old girl has not missed one day of journaling. Has not missed it. And I can agree with that because she spent summer in my house in 2024. and I watched her. She never went to bed without journaling, no matter the circumstance. You know that when you go to a new somebody's house and the routine is different from your own, bedtime is different, and so many things are just upside down. Sometimes we went out into the city, we got back very late. This girl will still not sleep until she has written about her day. That is when That's what we say when we say a habit has become automatic. And let me tell you something, it doesn't cost her anything to do it. In fact, it costs her more not to do it because her life is no longer complete without it. And that is what reading should be for every one of us. So if you have not gotten there yet, just know that you have a journey, you have a long journey. A member of the Book Lovers Club said she has gotten to a stage where she's not comfortable. A day cannot end. And that's what happens to me. I'm like, no, what is going on? I feel empty. No. And every one of us can get there, really and truly. Okay. Now, there's a popular saying, and many of us already heard me say this a lot, by James Clear. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. So the goals are the things we want to do. The systems are the things that make sure we do the things we want to do. Systems answer questions like, how will I make reading easy, automatic, and part of my lifestyle? Right. Well, because of time, I'm just going to rush through this part, and I'm just going to give simple examples of reading systems, right? But in Book Lovers Club, next weekend, our knowledge feast, we're going to be taking time to dissect the concept of reading systems. If you're not in Book Lovers Club, you're missing. You're missing. I see a lot of Book Lovers Club members on this live stream, and I'm very grateful to have you all here. We're going to go in depth on systems, reading systems. There are different systems. You have the time system, you have the trigger system, you have the accountability system. We're just going to spend time and discuss that. You have the environmental system, you have the reflection system. Now, your reading system is what guarantees success with your reading vision. So you have to create it. And that's what we're going to be spending time in that webinar talking about, how to create them. And they're very easy things that you do and you're off. People will be wondering how you're getting things done, right? Now, out of all of these systems, the one that I want to really dwell upon is accountability systems. Okay. One thing I know for sure is that growth never happens in isolation. Um, there's a scripture that I like to explain this with, and it's Proverbs chapter 13, verse 20. If you have time, please read that scripture. And it says, he that walketh with the wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Mhm, mhm. He that walketh with the wise shall be wise. So the Bible acknowledges that you cannot grow alone. If you want more wisdom, go and find a group of people who are wise and tag along with them. By default, they will rub off on you. If you want to be richer, financial breakthrough, go and look for people who are rich. So to see, is there anything like rich self? People who are wealthy, go and befriend them. And by default, in no time. Why? Be, Working in their community doesn't in their companion, it doesn't mean that you just be with them and do nothing. Tagging along with them means you're seeing what they are doing and you're doing the same thing they are doing. That's when the result comes. Now, that is why the importance of community or accountability can never be overemphasized. There is no such thing as a self-made man. This is a saying from a quote from this book. There is no such thing as a self-made man. You will reach your goals only with the help of others. If you're implementing change, don't go alone. Your chances of success are 7 times greater if you employ peer support. Now, let me tell you the shocking thing. Reading goals don't fail because people are incapable. No. Reading goals fail because people try to do it alone. Same thing with weight loss goals. Same thing with financial goals. Whatever goal it is that you have in 2026, I want to challenge you today. Go and find a community of wise people in that light and be with them. The members of Book Lovers Club are people who have decided to take their reading journey on a different level in 2026. And this is just our fourth week in, and the testimonies are mind blowing. Even myself, I'm like, oh my God, when we've not even started, we're just scratching the surface. The main work starts from February. January was just reading readiness, we're just prepping, and we can see this level of results already. That emphasizes the power of a community. The power of a community. So we have a lot of systems, but because of time, I've chosen to dwell on accountability. And I'm not just talking about reading accountability, I'm just saying generally in your journey in life, that area of life that is bothering you the most, don't try to grow alone. It will take you longer time, if at all you will grow. And that's why in Book Lovers Club, it's a support system for intentional growth, because intention grows faster when it is supported. Now, the Readers Corner is organizing a program. They're making a big book review. Last year we had the physical event, and a lot of people asked if they could, if we could live stream it so that they can join. And because of the activities that were involved in planning the physical one, we said no, we couldn't handle all two at the same time. So this is us bringing it back due to popular demand. That's an example of what a community can do for you. And I remember very well in the physical event, people that attended the event, they shared a lot of nuggets. It was such a mind-blowing experience. This is a book that many of them have read, right? But when you come together to read a book together, you will see people even rewriting the book from their wealth of knowledge. That is when it sticks. My sis here, Sis Evelyn, she's here. She said earlier in January, when she anchored her book review for this book in the Parenting Academy that we belong to, and she said, Vera, the way the book has stuck in my head now that we talked about it as a group is different from the one, and I can totally agree with her. Knowledge shares stays longer than knowledge gotten in isolation, any day, anytime. So the book review we're organizing is not for show. It is not for show. In fact, it took me a lot to finally decide to have that book review. All along, I just like, I'm done with this thing. I have a lot of things in the calendar for the year for the Readers Corner. But I realized that books, they say food brings people together, but I say that books can bring people together. So we've put together that program for everyone, everybody actually. Whether you're an entrepreneur, you have a business you want to showcase, you're a professional seeking growth, you're just a book lover, you just want to talk and discuss books. You're invited to join that program. I don't know if admin is here to drop the link, the registration link, but it will be in the description of this video at the end of of this live stream. Register for it. And my team and I, we also came up with something nice for entrepreneurs. If you have a business that you want the world to see, remember it's global, so we have people register from different parts of the world already. We have Nigerians, we have people in Canada, we have some people in US. So whatever products you have, especially if it's an online sellable product, right, or service that you have an opportunity to send in your no. So you have an opportunity to register, because we're opening up an advertisement slot, a 60 seconds advertisement slot for 3 lucky entrepreneurs. So when after the registration for this week, I think is it on Thursday or Wednesday, we're going to have a raffle draw and select 3 people, 3 lucky entrepreneurs who are going to play the video of your business during the book review. That's a good one. You never can tell. Your next big client might just be in that room. Okay, so this is your cue to get your registration, get into the book review. There are 2 ways to register. Either you get a copy of the book from the Readers Corner, or you register and pay the registration fee. Okay, people are already in. Yeah, books bring great minds together. Thank you, Mr. Chris, for saying that. Yeah, so getting is virtual. You join from anywhere you are. If you're not in Canada, then you can't purchase the book from us. All you need to do is to register and get your slots, get ready for deep conversations. Okay. Um, in conclusion, I still have 10 minutes. I don't know if I have questions. Do we have any questions in the chat? Okay. There's something I'd just like to remind us before we go, and that is vision gives meaning, goals give direction, systems give consistency. I'll explain that again. Vision gives meaning, it gives you an idea of where you're going. Goals give you direction. How am I going to get there? And systems give consistency. Trust me, if you don't have a good system, your goal is going to crash. If you've ever had a goal and you see yourself not achieving that goal, something was wrong with your system. Your goal, you are not the problem. Your goal is not the problem. Your system failed you. Your system failed you. Yes. Right. And one important system I like to talk about whenever I'm teaching about reading systems is your time system. That time system talks about when are we going to read? You know, a lot of us will say, oh, the day is so busy, the morning, the afternoon, like I have a lot to do. I don't like find time to read. But on the contrary, reading should take first place. You're supposed to be saying, oh, I didn't have time to attend that event because I was busy trying to read. But if we understand how reading can transform your life's journey, and if you're a parent here or an aspiring parent, how it can transform your family, your children's life journey, then we would begin to give it the time that it deserves, the time system. And that is why in Book Lovers Club, our theme for this quarter is own your time, own your reading life. What are we saying? Take charge of your time. You are the one that has the 24 hours. Why is your work planning your 24 hours? Why is social media planning your 24 hours? Why is even business or family planning your 24 hours? You are the owner of, you're the custodian of your time. You are the one that will map it out, the way to use it. And that's one thing I found profound in reading this book, especially the part where it talks about the model week, the model work week. Sorry. It's a template that shows your Sunday to Sunday and the things that will happen every single time of that Sunday to Sunday. How many of us have something like that? If you have a well-structured week in your life right now, let me see your comment or your reaction. If you have it, like if I call you on Monday 6 p.m., I know you know what you'll be doing on Monday 6 p.m. or you know what you'll be doing on Tuesday 10 a.m. If you have that kind of written, I'm not saying in the mind, written structured life, let me see your hand in the comment section or your reaction. Because ideally, that is how life is supposed to be. So by the time you've slotted in your reading, your morning exercise, whatever goal you're pursuing per time, every other thing that doesn't fit in at that time is not meant to be in that your season. The fact that they are not happening now doesn't mean they will not happen eventually. But many of us, we are too in a hurry to pack everything, grab everything, jack of all trades, master of none. And that is where we begin to burn out. And then when it's time to drop off some excess luggage, reading becomes the number one to drop. Bah, you throw it aside and then you stick with other things. Right. So you don't need more time to read. You need a better structure for the time you already have. My final reflection question will be, who are you becoming this year? And how should reading support that journey? How should reading support that journey? That's the question. How have you selected the books that would take you to where you're going this year? How have you planned to leverage on the power of books to support your growth this year? Remember, a vision board without a reading goal is incomplete because it is missing the engine that drives growth, which is intentional reading. And so I say, to your 2026 goals and aspiration, add a reading goal. and a well-structured plan. To your 2026 goals and aspiration, add a reading goal and a well-structured plan. All right. You see, many times when my kids are preparing what's it called, their vision boards for the year, there's something I always look out for, and I look for where have they, what's the reading goal, what they want to achieve. Because if you want to teach a child emotional intelligence, how are you going to teach it? You think it's by talking and shouting from morning to your night? You're going to have to walk them through graphics, some reading resources, some videos, and all of that. I will teach them all those. Those are tools, right? So, to your goals and aspiration for 2026, add a reading goal and a well structured plan. If you have already done your vision board for the year, you've put all those business milestones, career, professional growth, and all of that, and you did not add the number of books in those areas that you will read this year, please use today, go back and go and make adjustments. They call it take dressing. Go back and go and take dressing. Go and add reading to that vision board. Go and add journaling, because reading and journaling, they are CMS twins, they go hand in hand. This is one of the exercises we did in Book Lovers Club, where we were showing the books we're reading and the journal we're using. All right. There's a lot to talk about in 1 hour. There's a lot to talk about in 1 hour. But because of time, this is where we'll come to the end of today's live stream, where we talked about crafting your reading vision for the year. Vision, goals, and systems. If you're just joining us, I'm Vera Patrick Azudo from the Reader's Corner. If you don't know me already, and if you've not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, this is the moment where you can do that right now, so that you can stay updated with all our events, all our latest activities, all our free teachings on reading strategies that work. Because we must read like our lives depend on it, because it truly does. Our lives truly depend on reading. So this is me saying thank you so much for joining me again. It's always a pleasure coming here every last Sunday of the month. We come here and we talk about reading strategies that work. It's always a pleasure, not talking to myself alone. I see a lot of people on the live stream, and I'm very grateful for all of you being here. I want to say thank you, and I want to wish you the best of 2026. I want to assure you that if you do the things that we've talked about here, which is reviewing your goals for the year, your vision, your tactics, and all of that, and infusing a reading component to those desires, I want to guarantee you that success, massive success, will be yours in 2026. I am not saying you will not succeed if you don't do it, but I'm saying that I'm very sure that you will succeed if you do what we have taught in this session. And I wish you all the best of luck. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that now. This is a free video, so feel free to share with your family, your friends, anybody who you think will found this information helpful. The year is just starting. What better time to get it right than now? Thank you so much. Give me an emoji before I go. Let me know that you guys all stayed up to here and you enjoyed our conversations today. Thank you. Thank you, Anavish. Thank you, Mr. Chris. Alrighty, bye everyone. Do have a blessed week. Tiwalade, that's another member of Book Lovers Club. All of you are here. I'm so proud of you. Bye for now. Till we meet again in February. And of course, in the book review coming next Sunday, I want to see all of you there. I want to see all of you there. Bye. Have a blessed week, everyone.